Hey everybody, and welcome to Lex's World. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about driving while you are high. At the moment I'm sober, I am not driving high, but I figured while driving was a good time to talk to you guys about this. So first I wanted to settle the common question of, does cannabis impair you while driving? There's some cannabis enthusiasts out there who point to a handful of studies that failed to detect impairment while driving while under the influence of cannabis. Unfortunately, these studies are not the majority, they are the minority, and it would be foolish to assume that just because certain studies failed to detect impairment, that impairment does not exist. We do know that it exists from the majority of studies, and as well anecdotally from my own experiences from watching people who tried driving while they were high. I can tell you for a complete fact that there is impairment while you drive. Now, how much impairment? It's certainly not the level of impairment that you see if you drink and drive. Alcohol impairs your motor skills and your inhibition in such a way that's a lot more dangerous than cannabis impairment. But cannabis impairment does hurt you in certain ways. You lose your short-term memory, you lose some focus, and that can definitely lead to an accident, or certainly increases the odds of an accident. So my view is that while you drive, if you are high, then you are simply not at 100%. And operating a motor vehicle when you're not at your 100% is a bad idea. So there's no shame in saying, hey, you know, I am too high to drive, guys, and somebody take my keys. I've done it before, really. There's no shame in it whatsoever. But the responsibility on the high driving question doesn't fall solely on consumers. It also falls on law enforcement and politicians, because the current framework for pulling over and testing impaired driving in jurisdictions with legal cannabis is a joke. There's heavy users that are, by their standards, constantly under the influence and would be caught up in a roadside test. And what the standard is on roadside tests is totally different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So politicians have a whole lot of work to do, and while the politicians are working, which is bound to be slow, law enforcement have a responsibility to kind of use their discretion fairly in the meantime. So there you go, guys. That's my 2 cents on driving while high. Please avoid it. Preferably don't do it at all. And we'll catch you next time on Lex's World. Subscribe, hit that like button. Bye-bye.